Hello everyone, I am Reena Catherine, Assistant Professor in Department of Commerce, working in Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Today we are going to see about what is indirect tax. First we have to know about what is indirect tax. Indirect tax is the tax levied on a person upon consumption of goods and services. Indirect tax is not directly levied on the income of a person. He needs to pay the tax in addition to the actual price of goods or services purchased by the seller. Indirect tax is a tax that is passed on to another person. Generally, indirect tax is levied on sellers who pass it on the final consumer. Meaning of indirect tax: in indirect taxes, the person on which the burden falls and the person who pays the tax are different. The sellers are required to pay these taxes to the government, example, manufacturers, retailers. But since they sell goods to consumers, they pass the burden of paying the tax to you. Thus, when you purchase goods or services, you have to pay the amount inclusive of tax to the seller. The seller then pays the tax to the government. Next, see about the features of indirect tax. In India, there are many different indirect taxes which are applicable on different kinds of goods, imports, manufacturing, and services. Indirect tax has some of the defined characteristics. Now, see that one by one. First one is charged on commodities. Indirect taxes are charged on material things such as goods and services. These are not levied on the income you earn. Second one is shifts the burden of tax. Sellers of the goods are required to pay the indirect tax to the government, but they transfer the liability to their consumers. Next one, tax evasion. Indirect taxes are already included in the price of the commodities. Thus, when you buy goods or services, you automatically pay your share of the tax. This can help to reduce tax evasion. Next one is paid by the consumer. The liability of the indirect tax is passed on only by the sellers to the consumers. This tax is charged at the point of sales and is paid by the customers. Revenue for government: since this type of tax cannot be easily evaded and is applicable on most of the commodities, it serves a major revenue source for the government. Its contribution is higher than the direct tax. Next one is consumer is not directly affected. The main cause of direct tax evasion is that it is charged on the income directly. Indirect taxes face no such problem as they not directly affected. Indirect taxes are applied on the purchase or consumption of goods and services. These taxes are typically embedded in the price of the goods or services. So consumers are not always be aware of the specific amount they are paying. Unlike direct taxes, which individuals or entities pay directly to the government, indirect taxes are collected by intermediaries such as retailers, manufacturers, or service providers. These intermediaries then remit the tax revenue to the government. The impact of indirect tax on consumer behavior can vary depending on the elasticity of demand for the taxed goods or services. Inelastic goods, such as basic necessities like food and utilities, are less sensitive to price changes, so consumers may continue purchasing them even then taxes increases. Revenue generation: indirect taxes serves as an important source for government. By taxing consumption, government can generate significant revenue to fund public services and infrastructure projects. Indirect taxes distinctive features that distinguish them between direct taxes. Firstly, they are levied on goods and services rather than directly or income or profits. This means that consumers encounter these taxes as part of their prices they pay for products and services, often without a separate listing. Secondly, indirect taxes are collected by the intermediaries, such as retailers or manufacturers, who remit the tax revenue to the government. The indirect collection method streamlines the process for both taxpayers and authorities. I hope that this video will ensure that you can gain more knowledge about indirect taxes. Thank you.